Welcome back to Brazil for Indianapolis. And it's the second all-important final. The first final, well, that was exciting enough. Remember, in that one, the first 8 finishing there, reverse at the front of the grid. So, if you like, first starts 8th, and 8th starts first. And that means the man who finished in 4th place, Michael Schumacher, will start in 5th. And the man who invented this international tournament, he'll start in 4th place with Felipe Massa. Remember, of course, Felipe Massa running this event 3 times, and this time the money raised, there's 12,000 people, a ticket sellout here. The money raised is going all to charity for the flood victims, and there were a great number of people who were bereft of their homes after flooding a couple of weekends ago. About 100 people also lost their lives. But let's have a look at the highlights of the first race. And there, well, it looks like he isn't almost on top of the podium because he isn't big enough, but he is on top, and he certainly is big enough, and that's Sao Paulo born and bred Rubens Barrichello who won. But it wasn't always like that, because early on it was the Kart of 18, Lucas de Grassi, but Barrichello kept him honest, and Michael Schumacher, well, trying to get through both of them, and there Schumacher did. Schumacher in 2nd place there. So Schumacher looking as if he was going to do what he did last year and win this international championship after retiring in Formula 1, but that's not the way you win any form of championship, by modifying the kart. I think he had a little nudge as well there to help him into the barrier. Well, thank you very much. And he did continue, finished in 4th place. It appears that our director can't see that enough. But this man, Brazilian in Brazil, but not surprisingly, out of the 26, 24 of them are Brazilian, so it's not surprising that Brazilian wins. But Barrichello did manage that, and a very popular winner indeed was the 36-year-old who's done 271 Grand Prix, been victorious on the top of the podium 9 times, on the podium a total of 13 times. Lucas de Grassi finished in 2nd place. They, of course, start on the 4th row of the grid. De Grassi could well be after Rubens Barrichello's seat in Honda. He was going to Catalonia to test, and he may well get the seat next to Jenson Button. But we've got a slight technical problem, but we'll be back just in a second.
Channel.
Well, we just heard a second or two ago, you couldn't hear, but we could, that Barrichello really fancies his chances and said this is one he wants to keep at home. But it's easy enough to keep at home. There's enough Brazilian drivers out there. Felipe Massa will start in 4th place. Now, the points are important here because Barrichello gets 25 points, then 2nd place in the last race got 20, then 3rd 16. Now, the maximum anyone can score in this one is 20 points, and it goes to 17 for 2nd, so they're not equal with points. These 2 races are not equal with points, so it's going to be interesting. I'll keep you right up to date with what the scoring system is. If you're confused, don't worry, we'll see what happens. So we'll try and keep you right up to date. My name's Tony Delahunty. I've got the pleasure of watching all this and relaying it to you. Last year, of course, Michael Schumacher did it. His return to motor racing of any type from where he started. I'm told that when he was 4 years old and they filled up a little go-kart with petrol, the first thing he did was ran straight into a lamppost. Not the best starts, but I'll tell you what, it wasn't all that long after that when he was winning German championships. He got a job as an apprentice motor mechanic at one time, did Schumacher. More like a sort of mechanic going to race, and then of course it all started to work through touring cars and onwards after that. But on the front row of the grid, we've got a man out of FIA GT, Nagro. Sandino Naglo, only 24 years of age. Next to him is a truck ace, Felipe Giappone. A bit further back there, just out of the top 10. They start where they finished. Ricardo Zonta, remember him? A long time ago in Formula 1. Max Wilson, born in Hamburg, but he's a Brazilian citizen, so he competes there at number 10. Looking further back, Luca Badour, Ferrari test driver for quite a long time now. Must be gosh, it's at least 10 years, isn't it? Yeah, it must be something like that. Jeff Gordon, 4 times winner in NASCAR, 4 times winner of the NASCAR Cup. Antonio Pizzonio way back on the grid there, and another name that just sprung up there was Tarso Marx. Maurizio, yeah, one time plied his trade in England as well, and had hoped to do rather better than he did. A number of Brazilians that, of course, were in England. That's where they tended to go after they finished their karting. But let me tell you that one or two of those people starting at the front have got a fair amount of karting experience, but watch from one or two, apart from this fella, of course. He's had the experience of some 250 Grand Prix starts, and he won 91 of them. A word there with a guy who was pretty close up with in the first one, but Antonio Luizzi, having a word with him. 12,000 people, complete sellout here. And Florianopolis, not far from Sao Paulo itself. And they love their karting here. They love their stars as well, and a great number of them on show here. So looking at the stock car races in here, Alan Codes was starter. Alan Codes on the second row of the grid alongside Philippe Massa, so there's two 27-year-olds on the second row of the grid. Then you've got Michael Schumacher with now Diego Camillo was the fastest man in the warm-up before the first race today. He eventually managed to get finished just ahead of Michael Schumacher in third place, so just watch out for him. He's in the Brazilian stock car series, the V8 series, but back a few years ago he did do rather well in karting. He won a Brazilian karting championship, so he's no fool, is Diego Camillo. In fact, there's a whole host of former Brazilian karting champions here. Only one non-Brazilian, not surprising, I suppose, in the top 10. There's only 4 here altogether. Who can come through from the back? Well, possibly Antonio Pizzonio, but he's second from the back row. Man who finished second last year starts in position P12, Luciano Berti. So there's a possibility that he might do something, I suppose. But at the front, the man you must fancy most of all was Rubens Barrichello, who's got a 5-point gap, remember. So if De Grassi was to get ahead of him and Rubens was to stay in second place, it would be Rubens who would win the championship. But we'll be underway any second now, and this should be a really interesting race. Well, there's a man who's organised it all. What a way to have a Christmas party. Yeah, I have a couple of friends and a bottle of brown ale, but Felipe Massa doing it in a rather different way. And concentration on the grid. You see Massa with kart 19 there, 1 on the road behind is Michael Schumacher. So they were teammates. They're very good friends as well. Michael Schumacher was asked a little earlier today how he felt while watching the Brazilian Grand Prix, which of course Lewis Hamilton won to get the World Championship for Great Britain, and he said, well, that's the way it is. There was another Brazilian, who said he smashed his television set. Expensive way to watch motor racing. When Schumacher was asked about what he did with the television set, he said it wasn't mine. It wasn't mine to smash. So there you are. Now they're good mates, so Schumacher and Felipe Massa. Wonder whether they'll be such good mates if they get close on the track with each other. Looking at 21 there as well. That's Camillo, Diego Camillo. Warned you about him, to watch him. 25 minutes plus 1 lap, and I'll keep you right up to date. I'll be honest as far as the scoring point system is concerned. So remember, 25 it starts and dribbles down to the places where there is just 1 point, and then in this one it starts at 20 and comes down in a similar fashion. So there's only a set number of people that have actually got points so far. That's the first 15 to finish, and it's only the first 15 that can score points in this one as well. Give you an example though, at second place only 17 points. Second place in the previous race would have got 20 points. So there's a little bit of a difference. So if you add smart money at the moment, would you put it on Rubens Barrichello? Certainly, if he keeps his Honda seat, it'll be closing on at the end of next season, somewhere around 300 Grand Prix appearances. Well, the greatest number of victories, there only 9 victories. 13 times he stepped up onto that podium. during that period doesn't bear imagination alongside Michael Schumacher's 91 out of 250. 91 victories out of 250 Grand Prix. Winner here last year, returning to it. Invited to come back, said, I decided I was coming already. Good answer. And when he asked why he was coming back, he said, well, there is the charity. That was one thing. There is the fact that Philippe and I are good friends. That's another. But most of all, I intend to win it. He's going to have it to do. If you saw the way that if you've just joined us, you may not have done, but his kart was somewhat modified by a bump and a bash and then into the barrier in the first race, where he ended up finishing in 5th position. That means, of course, that in 5th position, because he starts in 5th position for this one, because they reversed the grid. So Michael Schumacher in the first one, rather, let's get that absolutely straight, finish 4th, that starts now in 5th position, because they reversed the front 8, and away they go. Oh, and that's not a bad start at all, is it? Because just coming down on the outside, there's going to get 2 or 3 of them chopped out there. Oh, what a good start that was from the man on the outside of pole position. So, a real battle there as Felipe Giaffoni, a man who's made his kart look quite wide. He's used to truck racing in Brazil, but he's got the kart into the front position. Somebody's got off further down at the back. But good start for Giaffoni, and we're looking to see what Michael Schumacher's doing. We're looking at what Felipe Massa's doing. Remember, there's 25 minutes of this and then an extra lap. We had heard there might be some rain later, but let me tell you, there's no rain anywhere on the horizon. Warm and pretty hot out there as well, as we might well see. Nagrao goes through. So the FIA GT driver goes through. The truckman is in 2nd place, and who's that in 3rd place? And that's Felipe Massa. He won this in 2006, and maybe he wants to put the Schumacher victory of 2007 in the sandwich in between him and another victory in 2008. But Massa's got to chase after Nagro, and Massa, what did he score in the first one? He scored just 11 points, so he's got a little bit to do. Now, where is Rubens Barrichello? We'll try and pick him up as soon as we possibly can. But at the moment, he's way out of the top 6 anyway. It was Rubens Barrichello who maybe went off further back. I'm looking to see where we can find him. He's currently in 10th place. Now, 10th place would certainly give him some points. It'd give him a total of 31. But there's a fair few at the moment in the positions that they're in that could well do better than that. Now, Massa, what is Massa standing at the moment? Massa with 11 points from the first one. If he was to win this one, he'd be up to 31 points. So that's how good a victory in the first one is concerned. It can give you a real advantage, but we've got to look very carefully at this one now, because it's points that are going to count. And we've got Schumacher in the frame as well, but it's still Xandino Nagro in the lead at the moment. And further down the field, there's a couple of others starting to come up quite quickly. I'll tell you about those. It's Nagro from Massa, from Giaffoni, from Kadir, from De Grassi. Schumacher in 6th place at the moment. And that would give Schumacher 13 points from the first race. And from the second race, he would pick up 10 points, so we give him 23. So he's a way off winning this at the moment. We'll need to come up through the field, but he's come up through somebody there. And that will mean Schumacher, no, he stays 6th. De Grassi is in 5th place at the moment. But Nagro still at the front from Felipe Massa. Now, Felipe Massa looking to find his way through. 3 karts in that blanket front at the moment. But it's fierce, and it's got an awful long way to go yet. This is very, very interesting indeed at this early stage of the battle. 25 minutes and then an extra lap after that. Fastest lap so far, Felipe Massa, 42.4. And circuit very warm out there, and this crowd on their feet all over the place in different stages, looking to see where the moves might be made. And Michael Schumacher up to 5th, as I predicted he would be. He's got Alam Kadir in his sights up ahead of him. So the German is moving forward. 18 you're looking at there is Lucas De Grassi. De Grassi got 20 points from the first session, and at the moment De Grassi is in 8th position. so he would score 8 points. This would be 28 points. Felipe Massa is looking to be in the box seat at the moment. Negro would get 20 points, but Negro does not get an awful lot of points from the first race that he was in. He got 8 there, so he's on 28. So there's about 4 or 5 that could win it, but we've seen the change happen there, and there's Felipe Massa in the race that he started, in the championship that he started, and he's put Negro into the second place position. But it's come back again, and Negro's gone to third place position. So, looking at that situation at the moment, Felipe Giaffoni, the truck aces, having a go at Felipe Massa. You might be able to drive karts, I can drive trucks, and I wonder if he'll give him a bit. Hope not, hope it stays clean, those 3. And where is Michael Schumacher? Big question to ask. So Massa on the trail of 20 points. Got 11, so he's on 31 points. Can forget all about Giaffoni in second place for the moment as far as the overall position is concerned. But looking at, we have a timing system as well, which tells us that we've got 5 laps completed, 6 laps completed now. And it's quite a battle further back as well. Max Wilson coming up through the field in 7th place. Diego Camillo, that I warned you about earlier, is in 6th place. Schumacher still in 3rd. But at the front, it's still Massa from Giaffoni, from Negro. And the pronunciation, really, of Alexandrino Negro, I'm told from my Brazilian friends, is more like Negra. So there you are. If you're speaking of the Portuguese, the Castilian Portuguese, then you get a little closer to that pronunciation, but he can certainly drive, and he's making his own pronunciation on what's happening out there. Looking at the moment at number 3, which is Antonio Pizarro, and the reason why that Brazilian has come up 12 places. There is Rubens Barrichello. Barrichello, who is next to him, mate. Michael Schumacher, and what was that? I'm having you. Oh, well, maybe you are, just for the moment. So Barrichello on the move, going with him. Michael Schumacher. So we've got Barrichello up to 8th place, 25 points from the first race. 8th place would give him 8. That would be give him 33. Barrichello seat at the moment then. And Barrichello, if he can, I think that might well be enough, but we'll have to wait and see, because 18's moved up as well. Lucas de Grassi, and he got 20 points in the first race. He's now in a situation, if he stayed where he was, it's 6th position in this one, he'd pick up 10, so that would be 30, but Barrichello would still be, although Barrichello is just behind him, the man in the favoured position. Remember, the first race carried a better point scoring system than the second race. Well, here we go. There's Felipe Massa, there's Giaffoni, there's Negra, and Alan Cordier is there, and we notice that Michael Schumacher has dropped back. Michael Schumacher back to 9th place, so Schumacher's had a problem. And forgive me, I'm looking at 2 monitors and watching the timings change all the time, because I can see coming up on the screen as I speak at the moment, there's a number of places that have been changing in the last couple of laps that aren't on your leaderboard, that will very much change the complexion of this race. Still, Felipe Massa looking for a 20-point victory. 20 points it would be, and Massa would add that to 11 already scored, so he can score a maximum of 31. He can't score more than 31 points. That's a good number to remember. Giaffoni not in that frame. Negro not in that frame either. Kadir in 4th place, who saw decent points, but I don't think he can get close enough. The maximum he could get if he won would be 30 points, and he's back in 4th place at the moment. Looking at the 5th place, Lucas de Grassi. Now, de Grassi scored 20 points in the first race. 5th place would give him 11, so he'd be on 31. So yes, at the moment, Felipe Massa looking like he could win his own championship, but this man is up there as well. So then Rubens Barrichello in 7th place, 25 points for the first race. 7th place, we see him going through there to clinch that 7th place for the moment. and 7th would give him 9 points, so that would be 34. So now he would be, if they finished as they are at the moment, ahead of Felipe Massa. Goodbye, Michael. Michael Schumacher is out. That's over. He waves to the crowd. Big, big wave from Michael Schumacher. Like to have won it. He won't win it now. So Michael Schumacher, who shows on our board as 15th, is, in fact, his race is over. Quick look at the end of Michael Schumacher's race. Problems there at the rear. Will there be? No, he's still going at that stage. But Michael Schumacher out of it. But his young protege, if you like, Felipe Massa, still at the front. And, you know, all honour to Felipe Giafoni. He's actually sticking with him, and so too is Zandino Nagro. And I'm looking at the karting pedigree of those two, and in fairness, both of them have had a fair share of karting experience. But Felipe Massa, he has as well. He in 1997 and 2002 returned to karting and won the GV 500 miles championship in teams there. Loves his karting, and he shows it too, doesn't he? Now, still Giafoni. Massa overall does not need to worry about Giafoni, but he does, this man coming through at the moment, because the man moving into 4th place is Kader, De Grassi in 5th, Barrichello in 6th. Now, Barrichello's moving to 6th would give him 25 from the first race, and a 6th position in the second race would give him 35. Pretty hard to get past. That first race proving yet all important. So it's Massa, Giafoni, Nagro, Kader, then De Grassi, then Barrichello, and it's between De Grassi, Barrichello and Massa. Isn't it difficult to watch a motor race where on the one hand you're looking at the people in the lead of the race, the battle for the lead, and yet the point scoring system over the 2 races has to come into play. And the crowd here, absolutely every single seat. It houses 12,000. It's got 12,000 in at Florianopolis. And they've got the sort of racing that they were expecting. Here's Massa, winner in 2006. Schumacher did it in 2007, as we've already seen. He won't do it on this occasion. He's out of it. Giafoni in the 2nd place, Nagro and De Grassi. De Grassi finding, or trying to find his way through. And Diego Camillo, right in there as well. So Diego Camillo finished, in fact, in the first race, finished very soundly in 3rd position. And for some reason, he's showing a lap down, so he clearly has stopped at some stage, had an off, and has come back again. But he's not showing on our leaderboard in that position at all. So we'll assume that he's trying to unlap himself. But he's behind Giafoni and Felipe Massa coming through as they compete 17 laps of this circuit. Just outside Sao Paulo, and there's going to be a change in the lead because Felipe Giafoni has gone through. Felipe Massa has the inside, but decides that he won't bother about that for the moment. So Massa drops into 2nd place. This is going to be interesting. Now, Massa is a pretty cool cookie, but down to 2nd place would be 17 points for a finish in this one. And that would mean that 17, and with his 11 from the first, it would only be 28 points. All these cars are supposed to be identical. They drew lots for them at the beginning. Now, what can Felipe Massa do? The fastest lap, Barrichello. Barrichello in 5th place at the moment. That's 25, and a 5th place would give him 11 points, up to a possible 36 points. This is looking more and more that it's going to be Rubens Barrichello that's going to win it, if he can keep it going. Well, we've been watching karting at all sorts of levels this year and seen some dreadfully sad or break-heart situations on the last few laps. But Rubens Barrichello, we can hear the crowd roaring when he did so well in the first race. Now has the man he would least likely to have near him, Lucas de Grassi, just Is he just in front of him? He just waved his fist at him from the back as if to say, or waved at him and said, hey, come on, or chase, or whatever. But what's going on here? Because these are the two who battled in the first race. So we're going to see it between these two in the second race. But remember, if they did finish in first and second, it would still be Rubens Barrichello who would win, even if he finished in second place because of the 25 points in the first one. But watch the two of them. And remember also, a little bit of a battle here as well, because Di Grassi tested, or may test again even, in Catalonia for the possibility of a Honda seat in the car next to the car of Jenson Button. And that, of course, at the moment is the team that Rubens Barrichello is, in fairness, probably more likely to continue with. But it's the man in front at the moment, Graffoni from Felipe Massa still. Negrão in third place. And then, confusing us slightly, we will see that Kart there, that's car 80, which is a long way further back down the field. Marco Gomez. Looking to see where Marco Gomez is now. He's moved up to 7th place, in fairness to him. That is not how you move any further. So Marcos Gomez goes to Tab's grass cutting, and that's not the nicest of way to finish a motor race. But Felipe Massa still trying to find a way round Giaffoni. Giaffoni, who's very much a star of truck racing. Done an awful lot of other racing, including 3000, everything similar to that in years gone by. And in 1999 was a Brazilian kart champion. So he knows how to make these things go, and he's certainly proving that he knows how to make these things go as well. 21 laps completed. It's still Giaffoni from Massa, from Nagra, from Rubens Barrichello, now in 4th place. So Barrichello in 4th place would be 25 for the first, and for the second run he'd move up to a possibility of 38 points. Now, that would mean there's only 2 points of a gap possible in difference, and that would mean, first of all, that Di Grassi would have to win this one, which would give him 20 points for winning this. He got 20 points for that. That would move him to 40 points. That is not the way for a kart to finish the motor race, modified almost like Michael Schumacher's was in the first one. But still, it's Giaffoni, absolutely determined to win this race. If you get your truck in front, you don't let one pass, maybe. But this is karting, and at its very best. And the circuit just outside Sao Paulo has got 21 of Brazilians of the Brazilian best out there, and a few that were out there, like Michael Schumacher, like Jeff Gordon, who's a good way down the field, back in 22nd place. And a couple of IndyCar men like Tony Kanaan. Now, where's Tony Kanaan in this one? At the moment, he is in 10th place. So not bad for Tony Kanaan. But still at the front, Giaffoni from Massa. 23 laps complete. They're on the 24th now. And Felipe Massa needs to get through to get 20 points. And add to the 11 he got in the first, which would give him 31. That is not going to be enough at the moment. One wonders whether Felipe Massa is getting any form of sort of signal from the side. Got 7.5 minutes remaining. Long time to go in a race like this. And I'm looking at the times at the moment. Barrichello still with the fastest lap. He said that some while ago. 41.775. And we're still looking at the battle for the lead of the race. And if he did come off earlier, one thing we have noticed is Thiago Camillo is coming back up through the field, and that is because they're passing a number of back markers. He has, according to our lap scoring, he's been off, come back on, and although he's in amongst the first three, he is not in the motor race. Di Grassi in 4th place, Barrichello in 5th. It's only a good drive from him. He's up to 6th place, but he's nowhere near as far as point scoring is concerned. It could be between Di Grassi and Barrichello, who are currently running in 4th and 5th place. And that is showing Schumacher there at 23rd. Schumacher's race is, in fact, long finished. So De Grassi at the moment would get 20 points. If he finishes 4th, he would go to 33. Rubens Barrichello would get the 25 from the first race. If he finishes 5th, he would get 11. That's 36. Good job, my arithmetic's up to date. Moving an abacus across past our computer over here at the moment, but it still looks like Barrichello. And in fact, if Barrichello just keeps De Grassi there and just watches him and makes sure that he doesn't finish more than a couple of places in front of him, then I think the job is going to be done. On the other hand, De Grassi has got to try and get through, so the pressure is more on De Grassi than it is on Barrichello. The pressure to win this race is on Giaffoni at the front, but Felipe Massa, I'm sure, would love to finish the final race of this final series. Watching there is 14, that's Luciano Berti, now racing in stock cars, but last year, of course, he finished 2nd to Michael Schumacher. Number 14, Luciano Berti, leading that little battle of 2. 42. Well, there's a man with some experience. He's now in Grand Am racing, and that's Ricardo Zonta, but back at the front. We've got a change, and there he goes, Felipe Massa into the lead of his own championship. Now, will Felipe Giaffoni let him continue there? Parked up and out of it. We'll not concentrate on that for the moment. We'll concentrate on this. Now, there's quite a lot of back markers up in front of them. Now, this puts Massa in a 20-point back, but he only got 11 from the other, so that would give him 31 points. It's not going to be enough if Lucas De Grassi and Barrichello stay on the track. Now, could there be a problem where Barrichello and De Grassi come together? That's another possibility. But there is the man perhaps determined to win it more than most. 28 laps gone on his 29th, and it's Felipe Massa. He gave £12,500 this very week to that fund for victims and people who have suffered the loss of their houses in the Brazilian flooding, and dedicated this meeting, the charity of this meeting, to exactly that. But he's got no charity now as far as trying to win this race. He's determined to win it, and fair dues to Felipe Giaffoni, the truck racer, because he's not for 1 minute letting him just go and win it. He's determined to have a little go himself. De Grassi still 4th. Barrichello 5th place. Barrichello still with that fastest lap set a long time ago, because he's now on a sort of lookout situation, probably knowing that if he can just stay where he is and keep De Grassi there, he's won this championship. You don't do something like 291 Grand Prix without knowing how a points scoring system works, whether it's over a Grand Prix season or 2 races that decide a title like this. Is it going to be 3 Ferrari men in 3 different years? Felipe Massa 2006, Schumacher 2007, be it retired, and of one time Ferrari fame Rubens Barrichello. But it'll, you could say it would be a Honda title, couldn't you? Apart from the fact they're all in the same karts and they're all Birrells and they're all Pirilla powered on Bridgestone tyres. And is this going to change again? No, Felipe Massa keeping that eye towards victory. 31 laps gone, getting closer and closer to the end of this motor race, and I'm keeping all the time an eye on Luca De Grassi and Rubens Barrichello, and they are very, very close to each other. And you'd regard it folly, of course, if Barrichello was to make a move that didn't work and saw him off. So perhaps he's just going to just stay in there in that 5th place. He's got Antonio Pizzonia coming up about a second or so behind him. A lot to happen yet. But still, Massa with the lead, Giaffoni in 2nd place, and the 3rd place, well, a usurper of that 3rd place spot at the moment. But it is Naglo who has the official 3rd place. Get a little bit of an example of how well that Tiago could have gone. Tiago Camillo, who's now up to 15th because he's been dragged along through the back markers by these. Dragged along is unfair. He's certainly as quick as these, but probably a little bit unwilling to get involved in the scrap anyway, and knowing that he's in fact a lap down. But Still a very quick driver. Stocker, well, he's had a little touch at Barrichello. Oh, no, not Barrichello. A little touch at Giafoni there. And a quick look over the shoulder from Felipe Massa. Yeah, broken a little bit there, maybe caused by that little touch that Camilla gave. I can tell you now, with 33 laps gone, as we get into the last part, the very last part of this motor race, it's looking like Felipe Massa to win the second race and collect 20 points. Won't be enough, because the old fox, Rubens Barrichello, and the young hunter, Lucas de Grassi, who lie in 4th and 5th at the moment, are the two which the point-scoring situation relies on. But it's likely to be Barrichello, if he can keep it on the island, who, with that 25 points from the first race and a 5th place position looking on the cards, and that would give him a total of 36 points, as opposed to 33 that de Grassi will get if they stay like that. Look over the shoulder from Massa, wanting to win the race, if not the championship, which runs across over the 2 finals. But it's still Massa, and lots of traffic in front of Felipe Massa at the moment. This is his Christmas karting party, and the 12,000 who flock into this excellent circuit in Brazil, where they really love him for it. And the Brazilian party has drivers from all sorts of formulas, including MotoGP. And I'm just wondering if he's still going at the moment, the MotoGP representative, Alexander Barros. But we're on the ultimate lap, and is it going to be Felipe Massa? Is it going to be Rubens Barrichello that wins overall? There's 18, and that is Luca de Grassi. Where is Rubens Barrichello? Still there in 5th place. And it's still Felipe Massa with the lead. Our scoreboard tells us again, yes, it is. It reassures us. Only a little bit of a gap between de Grassi and Barrichello. In fact, the gap's opened a little bit. So Barrichello, yes, just making sure he keeps it on the island. But so too is the man who dropped to second but got back to first. Felipe Massa wins the race. Cracking race, and a great race too from Felipe Giafoni. Not too bad at all from Alexander Nagro. Those two guys started further up the grid, but Massa wins it. But the victorious of all, I think we'll find, is Rubens Barrichello. If he's got that 5th spot, well, you've had enough wins. Michael Schumacher making it off the circuit there, we saw just for a second. But there he is, number 11, Rubens Barrichello. Nice day's work in the office, where it all started in karting. Quick touch of the hand, and from winner to winner, I think that was. Yes, it was, from Felipe Massa, winner of the second race to the winner of the first, but with those 25 points in the bag from the first one. There was nothing de Grassi could do. Max Wilson was just in front of him there on the slowing down lap. So Massa wins that one. Confirmation that Barrichello finished 4th. Yeah, Grassi in fact finished 3rd, so let's have a quick look at that. 20 and 3rd place would give him 15. That would be 35 against 25 and 11, 36. So in the end, only just 1 point in it. But well, what do they say? Second place is the first place loser. Well, hopefully we'll see the full point scoring situation in just a moment. Massa got 11 and 20. That would be 31. So yes, Barrichello, there you are. Arithmetic good. Move up a class to Rubens Barrichello with 36, de Grassi with 35, Lucas de Grassi, Felipe Massa with 31, and you know, looking further down, Michael Schumacher still came in 8th place, but Rubens Barrichello, not bad. Bound to be a Brazilian really, unless a German does it. But there he is. Quick word with him, and let's try my Portuguese. I don't know whether you can hear it, but it's what's he bound to say? He's bound to say that he kept de Grassi in his sights, all the way through in that race, and De Grassi, of course, needed to do rather better than he did, but he managed a third place in the end. But he needed one more, and he wasn't likely to get that second place because the Felipe Giaffoni was keeping Felipe Massa. So battle of the Felipes at the front means that it's this fella, Rubens Barrichello, one of the nicest people to ever be in Formula One, and one just wonders whether he was battling with Lucas De Grassi with just a thought in his mind that man is also testing for a seat in a Honda car. Could be. Wonder who will be with Jenson Button next year. No doubt about who won this one. Felipe Massa winning the race at the end. Barrichello won the first one. The point scoring system means that it's Rubens Barrichello who is the champion. So 3 drivers that have driven for the prancing horse. Michael Schumacher last year, Felipe Massa the year before, and now Rubens Barrichello win this championship. From me, Tony Delahunty, I hope you've enjoyed it. From Brazil, bye-bye.